Before we leave this negative light system and transition into the artificial light, let's draw some shadows. So I drew this inclined object, rectangular prism. We did these back in videos like 66, I think, through 69 into that area. We talked about how to do inclined objects. So let's draw some shadows of this inclined object. Here it's sitting on the ground right along there. We'll make that touching the floor. And here's our left vanishing point. The vanishing points for this object are going like one is going to be directly above this left vanishing point, and these are going directly below this vanishing point. So think of it like this, like if this thing fell over, it would be sitting right here on the ground. These lines that I just drew are directly below the left and right plane, the vertical plane of this box. So this is important, and maybe the hardest part of this is getting these things right. Because what you need to do with these inclines is you need to drop a flagpole down from each one of these points. Well, maybe not each one of these points, but many of these points you need to drop a flagpole, and you need to have the flagpole hit the ground in the correct place, or the shadows are not going to be right. So figuring out where the ground is sometimes one of the harder parts of this. So what we have here is a collection of inclined lines, and the idea with the inclines are that you find the two endpoints of the line and just connect the dots. And we have some horizontal lines that are parallel to the ground. The rule with that is that the shadows of horizontal lines that are parallel with the ground, the shadows will go to the same vanishing point as the line does. So let's start off with this. And I'm going to do this corner. You think of these as just like, here's 8 points. And we need to find the shadow of all of those points. So to find the shadow of this point, I take a flagpole and drop this down to the ground. There is flagpole. And then I don't really care about the flagpole, but what I care about is the very tip of the flagpole, because that's where this corner is. I'm looking to find the shadow of that point. So the shadow of this flagpole, vertical lines are easier. Shadows of vertical lines follow the ground line. And then I take a line from the very tip of the flagpole, go to the light angle vanishing point, and right there on this blue line, that red dot is the shadow of this corner. Then this connects to this point with a straight line, and this is on the ground, so this is already an endpoint right there. So I am going to take this line and just connect them. So this is the shadow of this line. I'm not going to do every line, but because it's getting really busy if I do that. But I think I'll mark off the lines as I do them. So this green line is the shadow of this incline. And then I just kind of work my way around the box. Sometimes it's hard to tell which line to do and which line you don't need to do. That comes with a little bit of practice, and if you're in doubt, you just do the shadow of every line. It's good practice. So here we have a shadow of a horizontal line that's going to the right vanishing point, and the shadow of that will go to the same vanishing point. And then from this corner, I do a light angle. I just need an intersection along this green line. Notice I don't need to do a flagpole from this corner. You don't need to do flagpoles from and light angles, both of those. You don't need to do both of those all the time. So that point is the shadow of that dot. Now it's kind of nice to mark them off as you go, so you make sure you don't miss anything. So this line is the shadow of this line. I'm just going to mark them as I do them. So here, this connects to the ground with a straight line. So I can connect this to the ground with a straight line too. This line is actually going to be inside the bigger shadow, so I don't really need to do that, but it's not a bad idea to do that, just to show what it's going to look like. So this is the shadow of this surface. Now we've done one plane of this box. And now let's do this line. I just worked my way around. So I want to find the shadow of this corner. So from that, I need another flagpole. So I go from this and drop this down to the ground. Okay, so this one is this flagpole stops on this line because it's in the back. All these three corners, if you drop a flagpole down, they are going to stop on this line. These three corners, drop a flagpole down from them and they are going to stop on this line. So here's a flagpole. It becomes a little more intuitive, after a while, like where the flagpole should stop. So here is flagpole. I'm going to draw a ground line from that flagpole. Some tangent lines happening, but that always happens. Okay, here's the ground line and light angle. So this line is an incline, so it's not going to go to any vanishing point that I have up on my drawing right now. So this red dot here, the shadow of that dot is right there. So we just connect those two. And this little tiny line is the shadow of this line. Okay, so let's do this one. Because these two connect. So, and I could have gone over to this one because these two connect too. Flagpole. Ground line for that flagpole. And light angle from the top of the flagpole. And it stops right there around the corner of the box. So this connects with this with a straight line. So over here on the ground, I connect this one to this one with a straight line. Then this point connects to the ground with a straight line. So if I did this, it's really tight in through here. But this shape here, these four lines, are the shadow of these four lines. So this one, this long shadow, is the shadow of this. And I kind of connected it to here. So I did the shadow of this one too. So that's the shadow of this plane that's behind the corner of this. This is actually the end of this shadow. This is what you would see for the shadow of this box. None of the other ones will show up, and it's busy enough as it is right here. So I'm just going to stop this now. And I think what we'll do next, because this is just a shadow of one object on the ground. Maybe we'll make another object right next to it here. I'm kind of thinking putting something here and putting that at an incline also, but as a different incline than this one. So we'll have two inclines. Neither of them will be parallel with each other, and we'll see how those shadows work out.